GTA 6 Trailer 2 just dropped, and everyone is understandably distracted by the groundbreaking graphics, insane physics, new characters, and more. But today, we're talking about something I haven't seen anyone mention here on YouTube. Let's just say Rockstar might have revealed more than they intended to. I'm going to lay some groundwork first and then get into the details, ultimately adding to what we could expect to see in GTA 6 next year. Now, the main thing to take away from this trailer for Jason is that apart from Lucia, he's got a buddy Cal who doesn't take himself serious, and this Cal guy, along with Jason, work for Brian Heater, which is who we see pulling up to the house in his pickup truck to talk to Jason about collecting checks from his paying tenants. If you're not paying extra close attention to what's being said in the trailer when Brian's talking to Jason, it's really easy to glaze over that and be blinded by the beauty of the graphics in the trailer. What Brian meant by this was for Jason to go be some muscle and collect money from his quote-unquote paying tenants. Reason being, Brian Heater is likely smoke on the water and surrounding businesses' source for marijuana. In the blog post Rockstar posted linked with the GTA 6 trailer, Brian is revealed to be a drug trafficker. He even quote-unquote says, "I hauled so much grass in that plane, I can make the state of Leonida levitate." Of course, the plane he's referring to is during the scene in trailer 2 with the ominous vibe where it's raining outside of the marina and they're taking luggage and putting it on the plane. The fact that Jason and the other workers appear to not want to be seen alludes to the fact that those suitcases are likely filled with marijuana. Now, from the trailer itself, Brian doesn't seem to put off any ominous vibes or bad energy, but Jason is in pretty deep with this guy, knowing his trade secrets with the marijuana trafficking, but also Brian is letting Jason stay in that property rent-free, the one in the beginning of the trailer. He owns that. The deal is, as long as Jason holds up his end, doing the shakedowns, collecting money for him, doing these odd jobs, things will be fine. From the screenshots Rockstar shared of Brian Heater with Jason, it does seem like they go through a lot together and they have a pretty strong bond, so I can't imagine Brian would betray Jason, but who knows. Aside from Lucia, for obvious reasons, the only other prominent person in Jason's life seems to be this guy Cal. Cal Hampton is his full name, and he seems to be comedic relief. Jason's buddy, he kind of seems like an airhead, a conspiracy theorist, kind of nutty in that way, doesn't really take himself serious, whereas Jason is trying to change things for himself and kind of grow as a man, and here's Cal just drinking beer all day, doing whatever he wants, relaxing, and working with Brian and Jason when he has to. We only get a couple glimpses of Cal in the trailer, and he seems like exactly that, the way I just explained him. Aside from the things around Jason and the life and story that will be shaping him as we see more unfold and get revealed in GTA 6, I will say trailer 2 did him so much justice when it comes to his overall character appearance. In trailer 1, I gotta say I was pretty let down by Jason overall. I wasn't a huge fan. He kind of just looked like a knockoff John Marston or even Arthur Morgan. Not sure if it's just the Rockstar game engine and how they were working with the character at that point, but right now in trailer 2, he looks so much better, and there are so many different hair lengths and beard lengths throughout trailer 2 that almost changed Jason's whole appearance. I swear at some points his hair color is more blonde than brown, which led me to wonder if there will be hair dye in GTA 6, but it could have just been lighting and subsurface scattering. With all the graphical advancements, it's hard to tell with this trailer. So either way though, I wanted to mention that, man, they really did him justice in trailer 2 because he seriously looks great. Now, enough about Jason, let's get into a little bit about Lucia and the story trailer 2 tells about her. First off, we get her last name, Caminos. Lucia Caminos. So basically in this trailer, we see a Lucia that is getting out of prison. She's kind of run down. Jason's picking her up, and apparently it's because sheer luck got her out. And those are not my words. Those are Rockstar's words over on the blog post linked with the trailer. They said, for a backstory, Lucia's father taught her to fight as soon as she could walk. Life has been coming at her swinging ever since. Fighting for her family landed her in the Leonida Penitentiary. Sheer luck got her out. Lucia's learned her lesson. Only smart moves from here. What do they mean exactly by sheer luck got her out? Just kind of think about that for a second because we'll come back to it. As soon as she gets out of prison, Lucia and Jason share an intimate moment in the bedroom at the house. If you noticed, I'm sure some of you were distracted by some new physics, but if you noticed, she has an ankle monitor on. I'm sure you caught it eventually throughout the trailer, because it was a recurring thing to see her wearing one. A very specific point I want to bring your attention to when she's wearing it though is during her community service. At first, it's easy to mistake her for a completely different person, an NPC. However, she is wearing the same exact outfit she wears in the following scene, getting home to Jason. She's wearing the safety vest, the white top, black or gray joggers / sweatpants, and the black shoes with the white laces. She also has a gold chain on, and most notably, she has a hat on that says Brian's. This links her to Brian Heater's marina. And again, who works there? Jason, who also works there. Cal. So overall, this is the dynamic group that is sort of presented in trailer 2 as she sort of comes out of prison. She's on probation. I think the job she's working is with Brian at the marina, or she could possibly just be wearing Jason's hat while she's working her community service hours, but at the very least, these are serving as visual aids to tell us that this is in fact Lucia doing the community service so that she can get off house arrest or probation, whatever it is. This is quickly followed up by a celebration at the bar where Brian is, Cal is, Jason finds himself there as well, and Lucia pulls him off to the side in a very positive mood, and I think this is when Lucia officially is off house arrest, at least in the trailer. I think with this, Rockstar is trying to paint us a picture here where Jason is doing his normal thing, day-to-day routine, living in Brian's property rent-free, doing jobs for Brian, getting the drugs on the plane, helping him transport in traffic, etc., etc. And then when Lucia gets out of prison, she takes up working for Brian so that she has a job for parole, probation, whatever it is. And relatively quickly in the trailer, we see Lucia progress from being in prison to living with Jason again, being in this house rent-free. Both of them are working, doing their best to get by. And then in the trailer, things start to get a little bit more spicy and a little bit more intense. So hear me out. Knowing that Jason and Cal, his best bud, are working for Brian Heater. Brian Heater is a mentor almost, giving all these favors to Jason. As long as Jason helps him out, Jason gets to live rent-free on this property, and then Lucia gets out of prison. Now they're all together in this dynamic group. So just from this trailer, I want to see what you guys think of this, but to me, it implies that Lucia is an informant. Lucia gets out of prison on quote-unquote sheer luck. There's also a lot of leading with words from Rockstar saying on Jason's backstory that meeting Lucia could be the best or worst thing to ever happen to him. Jason knows how he'd like it to turn out, but right now, it's hard to tell. So why plant that seed of doubt about Lucia being the best or worst thing that could ever happen to Jason? Don't get me wrong, it could just be wording in the sense of relationship. You know, love can break you or make you, so I get that as well. But in this case, with the way the trailer flows, shortly after they're on the up and up, it would seem, and like they're doing good, Lucia's dressed up more, she seems to be living her best life with Jason, Jason's having a good time, they're clubbing, they're meeting all these people, making these connects. My hunch is they're doing it for Brian. They're going to all these clubs, they're meeting all these people, they're making all these connections, because yes, sure, they may have their own crime ventures and there may be other characters at play here, but the big ones being, what if Lucia is trying to bring them all down? Because she has to, she doesn't have a choice. During a key moment where there's an interaction with Jason and some other guys in a club, it goes south pretty quick, and it's obvious because police show up to the scene with Air 1, and Jason is lowering Lucia out the back of a window on the second story, and she falls all the way down to the pavement. And right after that, Brian is talking about how they know everything about him and he's got to like get out of there or whatever. So to me, it seems awfully convenient that Lucia is with Jason when this happens, and the trouble seems to continue to follow them in the trailer when Lucia is around. Lucia does do her fair share of crime in the trailer. I don't want to believe she's a complete narc or informant, but the trailer does have moments where it's interlaced with that vibe. Sure, some of the crime could be gung-ho Bonnie and Clyde before she ever got caught up and went to prison, but why did she get out on sheer luck? Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I would love to hear your thoughts about it down below as what the story could potentially unfold to be. When it comes to other things in trailer 2 that allude to Jason and Lucia's story, for the most part, it's showing off some action, some things to expect to see with new mechanics. There's a lot of cool stuff that happens with like the bank heist, some Fast and Furious stuff where a safe is being ripped out of a building and dragged across the pavement and sawed, throwing debris everywhere. Looks really cool. Then there's also that scene where Lucia and some other woman are in that plane way up above Vice City or somewhere in Leonida, and she gets tackled down near the landing gear about to fall out of the plane. That stuff looks epic and it looks really, really good. I do love seeing the hints at things like Jason working out early on in the trailer, implying that maybe we will have control over the character's physique. The wildlife is absolutely stunning. It's crazy to see the diversity there as well and just how much of it there is from scene to scene in the trailer. Vehicles look great, clothing customization looks great. I could point out the little things like that, including the phone number on the cash register and smoke on the water. You can actually call that phone number, by the way, and it'll ring once, it'll be a Florida number, and then it'll immediately disconnect, or at least that's what it did for me when I tried to call it. I may do another video covering extra small details that were in trailer 2, just to really emphasize how truly next gen Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be. And I mean, I could do that in this video, but man, it would take me so long. I'm sure you understand.